What would your life look like if fear no longer had a voice? Not silenced for a moment, not managed, tamed, or negotiated with, but utterly erased, gone, dead. I want you to truly consider this, not as a fanciful daydream, but as a tangible possibility. Imagine waking up every single day without that cold knot of hesitation in your stomach. Imagine a mind so clear, so focused on its purpose, that the whispers of doubt find no fertile ground in which to plant their poisonous seeds. Without that insidious internal voice telling you that you're not ready, not worthy, not enough, what decisions would you make then? What great ventures would you launch? What doors, which you have long believed to be locked and barred by circumstance, would you finally kick open with the force of your own will? What great dreams would you chase with a reckless, unstoppable fire? Welcome to Napoleon Hill's discipline. For decades, I have dedicated my life to a single task, to dissect the anatomy of success and failure. I have sat with the titans of industry, the visionaries of innovation, the masters of capital men like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and Thomas Edison. And in all my research, in every chapter of my book, Think and Grow Rich, the fundamental truth remains the same, as immutable as the law of gravity. The difference between colossal success and bitter failure lies in one thing: discipline. This channel is your forge. It is your training ground for the mind. This is your roadmap for self-development. We believe my teachings only unleash their true world-altering power when they are hammered into shape on the anvil of an iron will. This is where my philosophy ceases to be mere words on a page and becomes a living, breathing force within you. We are here to provide the study motivation to turn the knowledge from books like Think and Grow Rich into ingrained automatic habit. We are here to infuse you with the mental fortitude to stay hard against every challenge, every setback, and every naysayer that life will inevitably throw your way. The truth is, fear isn't your ultimate enemy. Surrender Island fear is a primal instinct. It whispers and it warns, but it only wins when you obey it. Every time you shrink instead of stepping forward, you trade your infinite power for temporary comfort. You sacrifice magnificent growth for a false sense of safety. You stall, you suffocate, you stand still not because you are weak, but because fear has convinced you that stillness is survival. It has sold you a lie, that the harbor is safer than the open sea. But ships were not built for harbors, and you were not built for a life of timid safety, but not today. Today, we expose fear for what it truly is: a liar, a phantom, a shadow pretending to be a giant. And today, we begin the work of burying it. Not with feel-good platitudes or shallow hype, but with truth, with practice, and with a purpose so vast, so luminous, that it leaves no corner dark enough for excuses to hide. So take a deep breath, stand tall, step forward with me, and do not look back, because this is the day you begin the work. This is the day you kill the fear. Let us get something perfectly straight. Fear is an instinct. Yes, it is ancient, built into your very biology to protect you from immediate physical harm. In many ways, it has kept your species alive. But what fear was never meant to do is to lead you. It was never meant to be your guide, your counselor, or your chief decision-maker in the affairs of your ambition and your legacy. Yet, for the vast majority of people, that is precisely what it has become. They hand the steering wheel of their life over to fear, and then they wonder why they are perpetually lost, driving in circles, arriving at the same destination of mediocrity year after year. This is the central principle I described in my work, Outwitting the Devil. Fear is the devil's most potent and universal tool. It is the force that causes a human being to drift, to go through life without a major purpose, plan, or a shred of ambition. The drifter accepts whatever life throws at them, their will completely subject to circumstance. They are easily influenced by negative suggestions, quick to find excuses for their failures, and ultimately, they live and die without ever tasting their own power. Fear is the engine of the drifter. In my analysis, I have codified the 6 basic fears that plague humanity and are responsible for the lion's share of our failures. See if you recognize them, for they are the shadowy puppeteers pulling your strings. First, there is the fear of poverty. This is not merely the fear of being penniless. It is the fear of losing financial control, of being dependent, of being unable to provide. It manifests as indecision, worry, and caution to the point of paralysis. It convinces you to stay in a job you despise because of the illusion of security. It stops you from investing in yourself or your ideas. It is the mortal enemy of the abundance mindset. Second, the fear of criticism. This fear is what paralyzes your tongue when you wish to speak your mind. It stops you from sharing your unique ideas. It makes you conform, dress like the crowd, think like the crowd, and live a life of quiet imitation. It kills ingenuity and robs you of your individuality. This fear alone has buried more brilliant ideas than all the cemeteries in the world. Third, the fear of ill health, the constant worry over disease, real or imagined. This fear creates hypochondriacs, but more insidiously, it creates people who are so afraid of risk that they never truly live. They avoid experiences, they avoid challenges, all in the name of preserving a body they are not even using to its full potential. Fourth, the fear of loss of love. This fear causes jealousy, suspicion, and foolish gambles in both personal and professional relationships. It makes people stay in toxic environments and accept behavior they know is beneath them, all because they are terrified of being alone. Fifth, the fear of old age, the fear of declining vitality, of becoming useless, of being left behind by the world. This fear causes many to slow down and retire from life long before their bodies give out. They stop learning, stop growing, and begin the process of dying in their 50s and 60s. And finally, the most profound of all, the fear of death. For many, this fear robs life of its meaning. They are so preoccupied with the end that they forget to engage fully with the present. It stops them from taking the necessary risks to build a lasting legacy. Recognize these fears for what they are: thieves. They steal opportunities for wealth creation. They whisper that your business idea is foolish, that you shouldn't ask for that promotion, that you should cling to the meager security you have instead of reaching for the abundance you deserve. They sabotage your financial planning by convincing you that you are not worthy of wealth. They rob you of your legacy. The most tragic part is that the real enemy is not the feeling of fear itself. The real enemy is the inaction that follows. It is the pause you take. It's the opportunity you don't chase, the silence you choose instead of speaking your truth, the dream you shelve for a someday that never arrives. Most people are waiting for fear to disappear before they take action. They are waiting to feel brave, to feel certain. Let me tell you a secret I learned from the titans of industry. That moment never comes. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action taken in spite of it. And if you are waiting to feel ready, you will be waiting your entire life. The men and women who move mountains, who change industries, who make history, they feel fear, too. But they walk forward anyway. They have cultivated a discipline of action. So, how do we shift from this state of paralysis to a state of power? How do we stop being ruled by these phantoms? We stop treating our mind as a given and start treating it as a garden. Left untended, the weeds of those 6 fears, of doubt and of indecision, will grow rampant and choke out all beautiful things. But with daily discipline, you can become a master gardener. You can cultivate a mental landscape of courage, decisiveness, and unwavering faith. This is the very core of my philosophy. First, you must recognize that fear is a master storyteller. It crafts lies so emotionally convincing that they feel like absolute truth. It whispers that you are not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy. And because fear uses the sound of your own voice, you believe it. You accept its script as reality, never realizing that it's just a story you've repeated so many times it has become familiar. Not true, just familiar. Here is the breakthrough: the principle of autosuggestion. This is the agency by which you may voluntarily feed your subconscious mind on thoughts of a creative nature, or, by neglect, permit thoughts of a destructive nature to find their way into this rich garden of the mind. If fear is built by repetition, so is courage. If fear is a story, you can write and tell a better one. This is where your journey of self-development truly takes flight. The mind, you see, cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. This is the secret behind all manifestation techniques. If you can visualize defeat, you can just as easily visualize victory. If you can rehearse disaster, you can rehearse domination. This is your battlefield, not out there in the world, but in the 6 inches between your ears. The moment you stop accepting fear's script and start consciously rewriting it, you take back control. This is the ultimate study motivation. You must study your own mind. Become a relentless observer of your thoughts. When a fearful thought enters, do not fight it, but do not serve it. Observe it, acknowledge it as a lie, and replace it with a thought that aligns with your definite purpose. This requires emotional intelligence. It is the ability to recognize the emotion of fear rising, but to choose a different response. This is where you must become grateful. Be grateful for the feeling of fear. This is not a passive, weak gratitude. It is a strategic, powerful one. Be grateful because that feeling is a compass. It is not a stop sign. It is a signal pointing directly toward the edge of your comfort zone, and that is precisely where your growth begins. That fire in your chest, that trembling in your hands, that's not weakness. That is life reminding you that you are standing on the precipice of something important. Your spirit is recognizing a moment of truth. The things that scare you the most are almost always the things that will grow you the most. Public speaking, launching that business, having that difficult conversation, stepping into your purpose-driven life. These are not dangers. They are doorways. And the key to unlocking them is simple, unwavering action. You must learn to stay hard in the face of this discomfort. It is the price of admission to the life you desire. Use motivational quotes not as a temporary balm, but as commands to your subconscious mind. Repeat them until they become your reality. Take the immortal words of William Ernest Henley. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. That is not just poetry. It is a declaration of war against fear, a tool of autosuggestion, a cornerstone of the power of positive thinking. Now, we arrive at the heart of the matter, the ultimate fear killer. The one principle from Think and Grow Rich that stands above all others, the starting point of all achievement, a definiteness of purpose. You cannot defeat an enemy you do not see, and you cannot build a life you have not defined. Fear thrives in ambiguity, in the fog of indecision, in the aimless wandering of the drifter. But it cannot survive in a mind that is consumed by a burning, all-consuming purpose, a mind that has absolute clarity. Fear and a burning desire cannot occupy the same space. One must dominate. The choice is yours. I am calling you to action right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. The time for drifting is over. What is your definite chief aim in life? What is the one thing you desire so deeply that you are willing to burn all bridges behind you and stake your entire future on its attainment? Take out a pen and paper. This is not a suggestion, it is a command. Write it down. Be specific. Don't write, I want to be happy, or I want to be rich. Those are wishes, not aims. Write down exactly what you want, the exact amount of money you intend to accumulate, the exact position you wish to hold, the exact service you intend to render in return for it. Set a definite date by which you will achieve it. Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire, and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. This is the first step in creating smart goals that have real power. Read your written statement aloud, twice daily, once after rising in the morning, and once just before retiring at night. As you read, see, and feel, and believe yourself already in possession of your goal. This act of writing and reading engages your mind on multiple levels. It signals to your subconscious that this is a non-negotiable command. It transforms a vague hope into a concrete objective. This is where you must stay hard. Your old habits, your old fears, the opinions of your friends, family, and colleagues, they will all rise up to challenge this newfound purpose. They will test your resolve. Your discipline is the armor that will protect you. Your daily discipline of reviewing your purpose, of taking one small step toward it every single day, is what builds the momentum that makes you unstoppable. This is also why the mastermind principle is so critical. You must ally yourself with one or more people who are in perfect harmony with your purpose. Share your definite aim with them. This creates a powerful force of accountability and psychic energy. When your own faith wavers, the faith of your mastermind partners will sustain you. Fear cannot easily penetrate a fortress built by multiple harmonious minds focused on the same outcome. The great ones, the ones you admire, they don't have less fear than you. They have a purpose that is bigger than their fear. Their purpose-driven life leaves no oxygen for fear to breathe. They don't have time for it. They are too busy building, creating, and achieving. This is how you cultivate a true abundance mindset. It is not about wishful thinking or some mystical law of attraction alone. It is about aligning your thoughts, your plans, and your actions with a definite purpose. You are no longer hoping for success. You are engineering it. You are no longer a creature of circumstance. You have become a creator of circumstances. This is the philosophy I have dedicated my life to teaching, a philosophy that has created more millionaires than any other in history. It worked for them, and it will work for you, but only if you are willing to do the work, only if you are willing to be disciplined. We have talked, we have explored the principles, but as I have stated throughout my entire career, knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power only when it is organized into a definite plan of action and directed toward a definite end. An idea, in itself, is worthless until you breathe life into it with action. Your journey of self-development cannot wait for a more convenient season. The perfect time to act does not exist. The time is now. So here is my challenge to you, today, not tomorrow, now. I challenge you to perform one act that you have been putting off out of fear. Make that phone call you've been dreading. Send that email proposing your big idea. Write the first page of that business plan. Speak up in that meeting and share your perspective. Go to the gym even though you feel tired. Do one thing that your fear has told you not to do. It doesn't have to be monumental. The goal is not to conquer the world in a day. The goal is to break the spell of inaction. This first act is a psychological victory. It is the first link in a new chain of habit, the habit of courage, the habit of discipline. It proves to your subconscious mind that you are now the one in charge. When you do it, I want you to be grateful. Grateful for the fear, because it showed you exactly where you needed to act. It illuminated the path to your own growth. Be grateful for the strength you possess to act in spite of it, a strength you may not have even known you had until this very moment. This is how you build the fearless life, not in one grand, heroic gesture that you read about in books, but in the quiet, unseen accumulation of small, daily acts of courage. This is the essence of my work. The lessons of Napoleon Hill are not meant for a bookshelf. They are meant for the battlefield of your life. The pages of Think and Grow Rich are a manual, and this is your first training exercise. You were not born to live small. You were not designed to tiptoe through life, avoiding every shadow. You were built to walk through fire and emerge forged, stronger, and purer than before. So stand up, straighten your spine, look that fear in the face one last time. Say, "Thank you for the lesson, but your services are no longer required." And then say, "Goodbye. You are done letting fear decide who you get to be. Your future self, the one who never hesitates, never retreats, and never surrenders, is waiting for you to take this first step. This is only the beginning. You have taken the first step to slay the fear. In our next chapter, we will go deeper. We will discuss how to build an unshakable mastermind alliance, how to cultivate the unwavering faith that makes achievement inevitable. The warrior is being built, one disciplined action at a time. Subscribe to Napoleon Hill's Discipline, because your fear may be behind you, but your greatest life, it is just getting started.